The following is a step-by-step guide on the installation of a single-version signature security door. This is based on a standard installation and will apply to most applications. Some custom applications might require additional steps for the installation. In such cases, our engineering department will provide further details. Taking proper safety measures is important for all installations. Machine guarding and proper PPE are required. Initial measuring of the door before installation. Confirm measurements and hinging for the inside jamb dimensions for the house, measuring from the threshold to the jamb on the height, then inside jamb to inside jamb on the width. Check the measurements and hinging from the house to the door you are installing. After unpacking the door, unhinge the door. Unhinging is removing the door from the frame prior to install. Typically a two-person operation pending on design of the door. Note, there are hinge rings that need to remain intact. Field verification recommended for the frame to the mounting surface. At this time, you should determine if you need a three-sided frame instead of the four-sided. Many door openings will require a three-sided mounting frame rather than a four-sided. At this point, you will use a 4.5-inch angle grinder with a 4.5-inch by 1/16 inch by 1/7/8 inch cutting wheel. You will cut the 5/8 inch bottom frame bar completely off. If powder coat needs touch-up, then apply at this point to avoid rusting. Setting the frame. Apply a single layer of foam tape to the outer edge within a 1/4 inch in on the back of the frame before mounting to ensure a seal against the mounting surface. Set the frame to the appropriate height by using wood blocks under the frame or by clamping the frame to the top trim plate. The top of the bottom bar should sit roughly a 1/4 inch lower than the bottom of the existing threshold. This will allow for drainage of any water that might go through the screen. Note, the top of the frame will likely impede into the opening. This is standard. Ensure the frame is plumb, level, and centered on the opening. Using a cordless or corded drill with a 1/4 inch drill bit, pre-drill the trim wood at least the depth of the 6-inch one-way lag bolts provided in the installation kit. Only pre-drill the top and bottom holes. Do not drill the center holes yet. Use temporary 5/16 inch by 6 inch zinc hex head lags and fasten the frame to the house. Be careful not to over-tighten the bolts as this may dent the frame. Setting the door. Lift support recommended. Ensure your hinge rings are in place. Then apply white lithium grease or other lubricant to all bullet hinge pins. Holding the door at a 90-degree angle from the frame, set the door on the hinges. Be careful not to scratch or chip the powder coat finish on the door and frame while attempting this step. The top of the door will be in close proximity of the frame for this. Once hinging is complete, apply the Zerk fittings. Note, standard doors will have 2 hinges and tall doors will have 3 hinges. In case the center pin on a tall door does not line up properly, some additional steps might be needed. Look at the hinges and decide where the male hinge needs to go. The frame might need to be shimmed to manipulate the frame and therefore shift the hinge to line up. This is why we do removable hex lags for now. Close the door and check for alignment. The door should close flush with the frame. 1/8 inch variance tolerance is acceptable. With the door shut, check the reveals on the top and latch side for consistency. Same 1/8 inch tolerance as previously stated applies here. Latch side reveal will normally bow out at the center. Clamp the frame to the door to set the proper reveal. Hardware installation. Install Q-Lon weather seal to the flat bar, which is welded to the frame. Trim the weather seal with scissors or a razor knife to the end of the flat bar or desired length. Shimming will likely be a part of your installation due to inconsistent mounting surfaces. You will check for light gaps between the frame and the mounting surface. Using supplied shims, keep in mind shim sizes will vary. Apply them behind anchoring points. First, remove fasteners one at a time and apply shim accordingly. Shimming may be required at multiple anchoring points. Note, the hardware kit provided will come with standard 1/4 inch horseshoe shims, but other sizes may need to be sourced. Common shimming materials can be used such as wood or metal. Once your reveals are set, you will need to ensure you look inside the frame and mounting surface to check for light gaps. If there are light gaps between frame and mounting surface, then additional sealing methods will be required, such as stucco patch, caulking, or added foam. When sealing or patching, apply masking tape or painter's tape where necessary to properly achieve a professional seal. Avoid sealing in areas not needed. Replacing the temporary lags. Once the door is properly shimmed, you will now exchange the temporary 5/16 inch by 6 inch zinc hex head lags to the 5/16 inch by 6 inch standard one-ways. Be careful not to over-tighten the one-ways to avoid denting the frame. DIY installers are suggested to mask off with tape for the surrounding area where the fastener is located to prevent any slips when drilling. Cutting the sill. Measure carefully the inside width of your steel security door frame and cut the seal cover to the appropriate length. In the application where the frame bar is positioned low to the ground, some applications may require for the front lip of the sill to be cut as well. Mark your aluminum sill plate with a pencil at 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch narrower than the width of the security door frame. There will be applications that require additional sill plate notching around different entry door profiles. Not all profiles will be the same. Using a 4.5 inch angle grinder with a 4.5 inch by 1/16 of an inch by 7/8 of an inch metal cutting wheel, you will cut along your marked penciled area. Note that machine guarding and proper PPE are required. Other methods to trim the sill plate can be used, such as a jigsaw, hacksaw, and tin snips. File off the rough edges of the sill. Touch-up is suggested depending on the quality of the cut and applied to the sill before installing. Apply 2 to 3 lines of silicone caulking under the sill plate and then set the sill into place. Apply pressure and/or weight to the sill plate to ensure it adheres to the mounting surface. This will ensure a proper seal and deter from rattling or tapping sounds when stepped on. Do not caulk the ends of the sill at this point. Wet caulking will only attract dust, debris, and shavings from the installation process. This should be done post-install. Rain guard. Measure the outside width of your door and cut your rain guard to the appropriate length. A cutoff wheel, jigsaw, or hacksaw may be used. Using a 4.5 inch angle grinder with a 4.5 inch by 1/16 inch by 7/8 inch metal cutting wheel. Note that machine guarding and proper PPE are required. File any rough cuts down before installation. Run the rubber sweep into the holding channels under the rain guard and pinch the channels with a Dykes tool to hold the rubber into place. Ensure the rubber is pulled tight and straight. Trim any excess rubber at this point. Position the rain guard to gently seal to the aluminum sill plate. Once sealing is determined, use your power drill with a 9/64 inch metal drill bit. You will attach this by drilling through the rain guard and the bottom of the door, securing with 3 quantity number 8x1 black fill pan screws, placing 1 in the center and 1 on each end. The end fill pan should be approximately 2 to 3 inches inward. Disregard the pre-drilled holes in the rain guard unless alignment allows you to utilize them. Mounting the screen frame. The screen should be secured with 1 top and 1 bottom number 8 fill pan screw, at least 4 inches from the top of the screen and 4 inches upward from the bottom of the screen. Mark all mounting holes prior to drilling to ensure for proper alignment. At this time, you will also mark the center holes. You will be using a power drill with a 9/64 inch metal drill bit. Each screen should have 3 anchoring points on each side, totaling 6. Check for screen tautness and, if needed, stretch the frame. Drill and mount the screws. Be careful not to over-tighten the screen frame. Installation for the lock and lever. Start by installing the lever strike inside the door. Make sure the angled side is facing inside the home. Mark the mounting holes with a pencil or a pre-drill as shown in the video. Drill through the mounting plate with a 9/64 inch drill bit and install the lever strike with supplied Phillips flathead screws from the lever box. Assemble interior and exterior handle sets with the 2 supplied Phillips machine screws. Mount the lever set. A Phillips screwdriver is suggested for use to avoid hardware damage. Ensure the mounting screws for each are facing the interior of the door. Detailed instructions are included in the box. Apply white lithium grease to the lever strike as an indicator for where to drill the latch holes. Once white lithium grease is applied, engage the lever and shut the door while the lever is engaged. Once the door is shut, release the lever to allow the tongue to mark the frame with the white lithium grease to identify where the latching hole is to be drilled. Deadbolt installation. Start by installing the deadbolt throw inside the door. Mark the holes just like the latch process. Drill through the mounting plate with a 9/64" drill bit and install the deadbolt with the supplied Phillips screws from the deadbolt box. Install the exterior deadbolt and line the mounting holes. Ensure the keyway is facing the correct direction. Interior side deadbolt will be mounted next, which has the exposed screws in both single and double cylinder applications. Install exterior and interior deadbolt screws from the deadbolt box. Note: more experienced installers may use a drill. A Phillips screwdriver is suggested for use to avoid hardware damage. Function the deadbolt to ensure easy movement of the throw. Apply white lithium grease to the deadbolt throw as an indicator for where to drill the holes. Once white lithium grease is applied, engage the throw from the exterior, applying the white lithium grease to the frame as done with the lever installation. Drill a 7/8" hole center of white lithium grease marking onto the frame. You will be using a drill and step bit that steps up to a 7/8" hole diameter. Pilot hole drilling is suggested. The lock holes will need to be filed to ensure proper latching and locking. Make sure to touch up any areas filed to avoid oxidation. Function the lock to ensure the deadbolt fully extends and there are no obstructions preventing the deadbolt from working properly. Closer installation. Install and adjust the pneumatic door closer. Hold the closer bracket about a 1/2 inch behind the security door frame and mark the mounting holes. The bracket has "door" with an arrow marked for your convenience. If needed, the closer bracket can be reversed to land on a flat surface. Drill the holes on the door jamb with a 9/64" drill bit and install the bracket using the 1.5" long screws provided in the box. Use the small silver hinge pin and hinge the closer cylinder to the bracket. Make sure to slide the closer stop tab before you hinge the cylinder. Use the longer pin or the cylinder to attach the smaller bracket. Close the door and mark the mounting holes for the small bracket on your door. You can also measure from the jamb of the security door frame to the furthest hole on the closer, usually 17 to 18 inches, and transfer that measurement to the door. Use the screw on the end of the cylinder to adjust the speed of the closer. Check the instructions and diagrams in the closer box for details. Temporary lag replacement for one-way installation. One by one, remove the temporary lags with your 9/16" driver and install 6" one-way lag screws with the supplied one-way driver. Be careful not to let the driver slip off the one-way head and damage the frame. Again, painter's tape applied to the surrounding area of the frame will help avoid damage to the paint if the driver slips off. Final cleanup. Clean up the door, frame, and sill plate. Wipe down the door front, top of the frame down with a clean, dry, or damp cloth or cotton rag. Ensure all shavings and debris is off the door. Then you will vacuum all debris around surrounding area, including threshold and sill plate. Once the area is clean, you can move on to the final step of touch-up and final caulking. Touch-up supplied is for minor scratches from the installation process. Using the less is more concept is suggested with your application. Touch-up is not always an exact match, so use this sparingly. It will take up to 24 hours for the touch-up to cure. Touch-up can be applied with a small brush or dabbed on with a rag or cotton cloth. Only apply thin, light coats as needed. The final phase of cleanup for the door involves caulking the sill to entry door jambs on both the left and right side. Black caulking is recommended and supplied to match the provided sill plate. Using painter's tape will help keep a clean, straight caulking line. Congratulations on a successful installation. Keep in mind, custom applications may require additional steps for the installation. In such cases, our engineering department will provide further details. Always take proper safety measures during every installation. Enjoy your beautiful custom ironwork.